a holiday gift of music and story.
El nombre del cielo os pido posada, pues no puede andar mi esposa amada. One of the things that inspires me about the posadas is the gathering of people. No seas inhumano, tenlos caridad, que Dios de los cielos te lo premiará.
Tell me what Las Posadas is about. What is the story?
The word in Spanish, posada, means a lodge, an inn, and this is what Mary and Joseph were doing. No, the story goes that they were looking for a place to stay to have the baby Jesus. No, it dates back to the 1500s. It came from Spain, and Spain brought it to the Indians in Mexico, and the Indians there started doing a novena, which is a novena for 9 days. A novena means just like, I guess, something that you pray every night. It's a custom that we follow for many years. It just we reenact the way of Mary and Joseph. What we do is we dress up the kids. We have kids that dress up like little angels. We have shepherds that dress like shepherds, and then we have Mary and Joseph dressed like them. I think it's a little deeper than that, not just because we take the angels and Mary and Joseph and reenact that, but I think we really get to feel the light of Christ, which is supposed to be, He is the light, and this is why we do it. I do it for that reason.
And how did you begin performing Las Posadas?
My parents have been in the choir since the year I was born, and so I just grew up in going through posadas, and I was that little girl who was an angel, and as you get older, I was the Virgin Mary, and I started playing the violin when I was 8.
How did you get started?
The priest that came in, he came in from the. He was born and raised here in La Alameda, New Mexico, and in Albuquerque. He wanted to bring this tradition back, and I think that basically the main reason was something to have community, build community. This is one form of the priest and the people around us going to different houses and meeting people at where they're at. It's been like 47 years for me, so We visit the homeless, we visit like Paloma Blanca down the road here. We bring the music to them, and it gives them a big lift. You know, it just touches you. You know.
This is such an old tradition. Why is it still relevant to you now?
It's just a reflection, just of every year we go through and repeat the history. It's a way of bringing it back to life again, just teaching, sharing the story over and over again.
Mm-hmm. People in the choir tell me, you know, it's not a Christmas if we don't have posada. It's just something that's part of you anymore. You know, it's not. You miss it just like, I guess, missing like pumpkin pie for for Thanksgiving. No,
I feel like you don't know what to do, huh? It's
think.
community, because anybody can come, and we pass out the papers so anybody can sing along if they want to.
Does it bring different groups of people in the community together?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sometimes,
And we you know, we have all races. You know, we don't tell anybody you can't come because you're like this, you're like that. You know, you don't ever know who you're gonna touch, and you know, people come up to us and said, you know, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You know. Venimos rendidos desde Nazaret. Yo soy carpintero de nombre José. The things that you really see when you're actually going to people's homes and bringing the posadas, they open up with their own lives. They ask for posadas because they want to call people over, maybe a friend, a neighbor that they're not doing very well with them. That makes me feel that I'm doing something that God wants me to do. You know. We figure that that God gives us talents to not just to keep for ourselves, but to share. San Jose has changed a lot. You know, in the few years, you know, we've gotten a lot of the immigrants coming in and things like that, and it's been San Jose has been a place of worship for everybody, and they've catered a lot to them. And I think we used to have like three English masses and one Spanish mass, and now it's turned around. Now there's 3 Spanish masses and 1 English, and we've
grown.
You know, we've just been able to mix and mingle, and to me it's no different. You know, it's just we have to be generous of what we have. No, and
so why is it important to you to carry on this tradition?
The youth need something. And they need somebody to teach that something, no? People and kids have to know that. They have to know where we came from, what we used to do, what we're still doing, and what we should keep doing.
You have to think about the future. So we have to carry the torch, if you will, and pass on, just sharing our talents, and hopefully the tradition keeps going, because Christmas is not just gift giving. There's other forms of giving, and this is part of it. It's a time of reflection. With the novena, that's what a novena is. It's giving yourself time to pray about something. And then when the day comes, it's Christmas. It means something. There's a reason behind it.
Entre santo